Did you see Davis's last fight against Roach?
Yes.
You did see it?
Yeah.
Because I know you don't, these days, you don't always watch all the fights. And what'd you think of the fight?
I thought Roach won the fight. It was a close fight.
You see Davis?
I think Davis has to start taking boxing seriously. You know, it's not just a media kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think would beat Davis. I really believe that. But that's why they do the fights, you know? You get in a ring and you determine who's better.
Bob Arum is now part of the long list of boxing experts and promoters who think the March 1st fight between Lamont Roach and GervontaDavis was fixed. He believes that the officials were against Roach, even though Tank had many reasons to lose. Even in the round where Tank seemed to be struggling, he still won it on all the judges' scorecards. This made Arum criticize the fight. While he agreed with the idea of a rematch, he hoped that the favoritism shown in the first fight wouldn't happen again, as the whole world will be watching.
But he seemed sort of ordinary.
In that fight, to you. Do you think, you know, he wins the rematch, though? Perhaps he comes in with a better mindset?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I don't know the kid.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he's capable of changing.
What made you want to, usually, sometimes you don't watch.
Legendary. Boxing promoter Bob Arum issued a stern warning to GervontaDavis after his controversial draw against Lamont Roach on March 1st. Arum urged Davis, who appeared vulnerable and ordinary in his latest performance, to start taking boxing seriously again. I thought Roach won the fight. It was a close fight, Arum told Sean Zittel. I think Davis has to start taking boxing seriously. It's not just a media thing. He seems kind of ordinary, and I don't know if he's capable of changing. Davis, who remains undefeated at 30-01, struggled against Roach, even taking a knee in the 9th round, a moment the referee controversially did not score as a knockdown.
Tune in that time. You want to get a good look at him?
Yeah, I want to get a look at him because he's been mentioned as a possible opponent for fighters that I promote.
Are you looking at Keyshawn Davis as potentially like the flagship fighter of the company now? The guy to build around?
I really think so.
I think Shakur beats him. I think Teofimo beats him. And I think Lomachenko beats him. Well, Tank Davis is an excellent fighter, and he's a big attraction. So sure, we would like to match any of the guys that you've mentioned against Tank Davis and see how well they would do. I like our guys to win the fight, but that's why they do the fights, right? Mm-hmm. So, again, we're open to any of that.
Arum C. Interest in Davis's career and future is not casual. He sees Davis as a potential opponent for his stable of young talent at top rank, including Keshan Davis, Raymond Muratalla, and Abdullah Mason. However, a few weeks after the Roach fight, Arum is now openly questioning Davis's future. I wanted to get a good look at him because he's been mentioned as a possible opponent for fighters that I promote, Arum said. Davis, however, could pursue more lucrative paydays against the likes of Jake Paul or even try for a rematch with Ryan Garcia.
As far as Tank Davis is concerned, I think that more and more we're talking with BBC and we'll be making fights with them.
Is part of...
That said, Davis will likely face Roach again at some point soon, although that is not confirmed, and Davis could choose to face a different opponent. The Davis versus Roach fight was ruled a majority decision draw with scores of 115-113, 114-114, and 114-114. However, Roach appealed the verdict due to the controversial call made by veteran referee Steve Willis in the 9th round. Davis dropped to one knee shortly after being hit with a left hand from Roach. Willis began a 10-count for Davis after he took the knee, but then inexplicably stopped and ultimately decided not to rule it as a knockdown. Davis later explained that he took a knee to wipe his eyes, as grease from his braids was bothering him. However, the rules of boxing are clear. Fighters cannot call their own timeouts, so Davis's knee should have been counted as a knockdown.
Judge at the ringside, Eric Marlinski scores it on 115 to 113 in favor of GervontaDavis. Judges Steve Weisfeld and Glenn Feldman both scored about 114 to 114, even a draw. The decision is a majority draw.
Had Davis's kneel down been ruled a knockdown, Roach would likely have won the contest on all three judges' scorecards. This is because 2 of the 3 judges scored round 9 in favor of Davis. If Roach had been credited with the knockdown, all 3 judges would have likely scored the 9th round as 10-8 for Roach, which would have made the final scores 114-113, 114-113, and 115-112, all in favor of Roach. The NYSAC uses instant replay technology to overturn referee decisions if they believe those decisions are incorrect, but a similar reversal was not possible on Saturday due to a technical issue, according to the commission.
When you heard the decision?
Nobody like a draw, you know, from a guy that get knockouts and things like that, but it's cool. I feel like if we fight again, I could do more, and I should have did more. I was lost in the, I lost track in the rounds. That's why we need, what is it called? Yeah.
NYSAC acknowledged in its final decision that Roach should have been credited with a knockdown in the 9th round and that referee Willis made a mistake. However, while the commission has the power to retroactively overturn Willis's decision and change the result of the bout to credit Roach with the knockdown, NYSAC ultimately chose not to do so. Despite the commission's refusal to alter the draw, Roach still has a strong chance of securing a rematch with Davis, which would likely come with a significantly larger purse than the first fight.
I didn't know what round it was. Facts.
Tank Eric Blum from DailyMail.com. First off, your coach just said, can you confirm, did you get your hair done 2 days before the fight?
Yeah. I ran water over it today, but I must ain't do it enough.
Can you describe what the feeling was like in the ring?
As Davis holds a WBA title, the WBA sanctioning body has the power to order him to face Roach again. Failure to do so could result in Davis being stripped of his belt. WBA President Gilberto Mendoza told the ring that he is ready to order a second fight between the two. Davis also has the option to voluntarily make an immediate rematch with Roach, as the contract for the first fight included a rematch clause in case Davis did not emerge as the winner, which he did not. Say no more. I'm pushing for a rematch, Davis said in a social media post.
Was it to get the towel out, to get the burn out of your eyes, or what was going on? And
I didn't want to get caught. I didn't want to get caught while my eyes was burning. And you know, like, you can get knocked out like that. So I'd rather take the knee than, you know. But I didn't really know that you can, like, get disqualified for all that. Or, like, when you start counting, I'm like, what the hell? But I don't know. It's cool.
Do you want that rematch next?
Hassan, the legendary top-ranked chief, has worked in the sport for over 50 years. And at 93 years old, he shows no signs of slowing down. Arum has promoted a number of big names throughout his time in boxing, but it is one of his up-and-coming stars that he believes has what it takes to become one of the best in the world. The lightweight division has become one of the most exciting weight classes in recent years due to the rise of pound-for-pound contenders like GervontaDavis, Shakur Stevenson, and Vasyl Lomachenko.
Sheik and the new is part of that prompting you guys to work together more when in the past you may not have.
That is correct.
Okay. So that's this competition in the marketplace is a good thing, kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So you think you make that Xander Zayas Fundora fight?
Yes. I think that's
Davis is the reigning World Boxing Association champion. Stevenson holds the World Boxing Council title, and Lomachenko possesses the International Boxing Federation belt. However, Arum has told YSM Sports Media that upcoming world title challenger GervontaDavis can beat all of them. I favor Keshin over anybody in the lightweight division right now, including Lomachenko. If Lomachenko comes back, I don't think he'll be as great as he was before. He was never really big enough at lightweight. He was better at featherweight and junior lightweight. I think Keshan is better than anybody in the lightweight division. Arum has also been on a mission to save the sport from the influence of the Saudis and Dana White, calling it the ripple effects of Turki Al-Sheikh's boxing journey. It's one of those situations where a common rival appears on the...
It'll create a lot of interest.
So is it more important now than ever that you guys do have a good relationship putting together fights?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because the Saudis are paying a lot of money for the fights that they put on, and we avail ourselves of that money with our fighters. But to make big fights on our own...
The old guard, Bob Arum, understands that they cannot tackle the new force alone, so why not join hands and deal with the adversary together? This sums up the hints Bob Arum dropped during a recent interview with a unique format and theme aimed at making boxing great again. The Riyadh season TKO boxing promotion has seemingly unsettled the boxing world, with confusion about how the new promotion will operate. Its relationships and coexistence with other promotions and sanctioning bodies remain a major issue, with rumors adding fuel to the fire. Uncertainty often creates insecurity, and naturally, to prevent any problems, setting up a deterrent becomes essential. This might be the reason why, in light of recent developments, Bob Arum may potentially reach out to rival Al Haymon's PBC. And what better way to solidify this new partnership than by putting on a show headlined by a boxing superstar?
In many cases, we need to work together with BBC, and they need to work with us.
How do you think the logistics of that work itself out network-wise? Because those were always roadblocks in the past.
Yeah, but there aren't anymore. I mean, they do most of the...
The conversation began with the potential return of Vasyl Lomachenko. Later, Bob Arum spoke about the title fight between Lamont Roach Jr. and GervontaDavis earlier this month. Like many others, he felt that Roach Jr. had done enough to secure a worthwhile victory. The discussion led Sean Zittel to highlight the title unification involving top ranks GervontaDavis, Tank Davis, and Shakur Stevenson. Bob Arum ruled out a potential fight between GervontaDavis, whom he even compared to Sugar Ray Leonard, and his friend Shakur Stevenson. However, he acknowledged that things in boxing can always change. As far as Tank Davis is concerned, Arum stated, "I think that more and more we're talking with PBC and we'll be making fights with them."
Pay-per-view with Prime, and we have a great relationship with Prime, particularly in Japan.
With the new
Inoue.
Right. Do you, I know you've mentioned others, DAZN, Netflix is getting into. What do you think Top Rank?
As Sean Zittel further reflected, the rise of Saudi-backed fights is prompting U.S. promoters to work together more, something that wasn't as common in the past. Bob Arum acknowledged that this is correct. He pointed out that the competition from Saudi-backed events is encouraging U.S. promoters to collaborate. Zittel also mentioned another potential face-off between PBC's Sebastian Fundora and Top Rank's Xander Zayas, asking if it's now more important than ever for promoters to maintain a good relationship in order to put together big fights. Arum quickly responded, "Absolutely, absolutely." He further explained, "Because the Saudis are paying a lot of money for the fights they're putting on, and we're able to take advantage of that money for our fighters. But to make big fights on our own, in many cases, we need to work together with PBC, and they need to work with us."
With Prime, and we have a great relationship with Prime, particularly in Japan.
With the new
Inoue.
Right. Do you,
To that extent, Arum even ruled out previously existing roadblocks, such as those related to networks. The news of the TKO Riyadh season deal immediately sent worrying signals across the boxing world. When questioned, Oscar de la Hoya said he felt a bit offended. "I heard that he passed over the reins of boxing to Dana White, and that comment to me felt a little offensive," said the Golden Boy. He later added, "So what I'm going to do is stay in my lane, do what I do for Golden Boy and with DAZN, and give the fight fans the best fights that can possibly be made." As Sean Zettel highlighted, boxing could potentially evolve to resemble the corporate world in some ways. Increased competition among stakeholders means better fights and events for the fans. From a broader perspective, the rise of Saudi-backed TKO boxing may prove to be a benefit to the sport rather than a detriment, as many currently suspect.
You've mentioned others, DAZN, Netflix is getting into. What do you think Top Rank lands after ESPN?
Well, all I know is
Not long after the GervontaDavis versus Lamont Roach fight, new rumors started circulating about a potential fight between Jake Paul and Gervonta "Tank" Davis. This was based on the assumption that Tank would get past Lamont Roach Jr. on March 1st. However, with that fight ending in a draw, those plans quickly fell apart. Just a day ago, caught up with Timothy Bradley Jr. in Las Vegas at the Michaela Mayer versus Sandy Ryan weigh-in. During a quick chat, they asked Bradley for his thoughts on Tank's recent draw. The Desert Storm didn't hold back. According to him, the 30-0 KO boxer knows what he brings to the table. But after watching how mentally and physically tough Lamont Roach Jr. was during their March 1st fight, he realized there is still work to be done.
It's gonna be interesting to see, man. So
do you see the same when Gervonta rematches Lamont Roach?
Could be, yeah, because the styles make fights, man. And
for some reason, Timothy Bradley believes Lamont Roach has GervontaDavis's number. He thinks it could be the same result again because, as he says, styles make fights. Bradley believes that anyone who can take a shot and is tough enough can take it to Tank and beat him. Roach is mentally tough, was able to execute his game plan, and pushed forward when needed. He controlled a lot of the pressure and hit hard enough to get Tank's respect. Roach landed on Tank and was there battling mentally, going back and forth. In the end, he handled his business and did a great job.
He handled his business. He did exactly what he was supposed to do. He did a great job. Him and his team had him ready. You know, the second time around, I mean, look, Tank knows.
About the rematch, Bradley said that a win for Davis would help him regain the fans' respect despite the controversy. He believes Tank knows what he brings to the table, that he's a tough opponent with a tough style. Bradley is confident that Davis will go back to the drawing board, work on improvements, and put his best foot forward. He also pointed out that Roach putting Tank on the canvas in the 9th round should serve as all the motivation Davis needs to come back strong.
Tank knows what he brings. You know, Tank knows he's a tough opposition. Tank knows that his style is tough as well. I'm sure Tank's gonna go back to the drawing board and see where they can improve in or improve on, and you know, they're gonna come back and
Bradley expressed his frustration, saying that after getting a draw, Davis had a big fight with Jake Paul lined up, but now he has to wait and take care of the rematch. He emphasized that if this situation doesn't motivate Davis, nothing will. Bradley also pointed out that Davis's name is being dragged through the mud, with many fans who were once supporting him now switching sides. He reminded Davis that this is the reality of boxing. To avoid further damage, Davis needs to prove himself, not just to himself, but also to his fans. Bradley's message was clear. If Tank Davis wins the rematch and does what he should have done the first time, all the negativity will disappear. Fans may criticize, but they're also quick to forgive when a fighter performs.
It's gonna be interesting to see, man. So
do you see the same when Gervonta rematches Lamont Roach?
Could be, yeah, because the styles make fights, man. And obviously, Lamont Roach, man, look, anybody that can take a shot and that's tough, bro, and that can take it to Tank, they can beat him, all right? Roach, he mentally tough, had his game plan, was able to execute, was able to march forward in spots. He was able to control a lot of